see we're here for the early hours. We do this every morning. We're here every morning. During the week we meet our friends. He has puppy time. Jasper the Wonder Pup, there he is chewing on his stick. But we do this every morning. This is part of our routine. He helps me get up in the mornings. I get my exercise. I can't move around that much, but I get my exercise. That's the whole point. We get to spend time together. We relax. It's just an amazing time together. Animals are a big part of my health. I have cats too. You know, like Snuggle, they want affection. Like, an animal in your life is a huge part. They have animals that go into hospitals, into senior residences to help with keeping their mental attitude up and all of these things. This is something that has been going on for a very, very, very long time. So an animal in your life is absolutely something that you have to do. In my opinion, you have to do it, you have to do it. It's just, for me, as someone who suffers with pain and everything else, yeah, he's always been fantastic, and I mention it all the time in my videos, that Jasper the Wonder Pup, he helps me, he stops me from doing things that I shouldn't be doing or overdoing it, and he's there for me. But that's just it, he's there for me. You know, you don't have to have a service dog. It doesn't have to be an animal that's there in that capacity for you. It could just be your everyday pet. When you're feeling down, when you're feeling angry, when you're feeling what you don't know what you're feeling, you can turn to that animal, and it doesn't have to be a dog. It doesn't have to be a cat. It could be your bunny. It could be your guinea pig, your hamster. Just being able to spend time and commune with that animal is an absolutely amazing thing to be able to do. And it doesn't matter, like I said, what type of animal. As long as you love that animal, it gets that caring and loving from you. It's going to reciprocate in whatever way it does, because it knows you're loving it. You know. So, I talk a lot about music in the mornings and all of that stuff, and music to listen to. So, I've got a new segment that I'm doing, and at the end of the segment, you're going to understand where I'm coming from, but I've got some homework for you guys. So for me, I listen to all kinds of music, and you guys know this. So I've got some homework for you guys. I want you to name at least three of them, artists that you're listening to. I want you to put it in comments wherever you're finding this video, whether it's on YouTube, whether you're finding me, you can find me now on Cosmos Creative TV, on Facebook, as well as on my Facebook page, Jeff Sealing Music at Jeff Sealing Music. But I want to have you do some homework. What three non-mainstream artists are you listening to? For me, I have a whole bunch that I listen to, but some of the top ones that I listen to, one of my absolute favorites, the Mona Lisa Twins. Support your local artists. Well, support your non-mainstream. These guys happen to be out of England. They're absolutely fantastic. They had just an amazing run, and it's been phenomenal for them. Totally support them. Shout out to them. Number two for me, Emily Linge, and it's Linge. She's absolutely amazing young woman. Plays piano, plays a bit of guitar, but the voice on her is absolutely amazing. And then Reina Del Cid. Reina Del Cid is absolutely fantastic. They are a Americana, bluegrass, folk, just this mix mash genre, and absolutely phenomenal. She's a great vocalist, and for me, I can't ever bring them up without bringing up The Other Favorites, is what they're called, made up of Josh Turner and Carson McKee. And you can find Josh Turner music and Carson McKee both on YouTube, and The Other Favorites. All of these names I've mentioned, you can find them on YouTube. They're fantastic, and they're part of my routine with music. So what's yours? And you're going to understand that after you watch my new feature. Thank you so much for tuning in. Check out the new feature right now. Hey guys, we're here with my good friend I haven't seen her in years. This is Melanie Peterson. Absolutely phenomenal singer. Sneak actress every now and then. You'll see her pop up in some amazing things. One of my favorite series right now. We'll talk about that in a second. But tell us a little bit about yourself. We're at the Dakota Tavern right now.
Yeah.
And what are we doing here?
Well, we are celebrating the release of my latest EP, which is called We Got This Side 2.
We Got This Side 2.
Yeah, it's a continuation from We Got This Side 1. I thought I would release my album in two halves.
Okay.
Just as opposed to just releasing singles, what it feels like people are mostly doing singles these days, but kind of like the album idea. So I thought I'll just break it in half, and then I'm gonna marry them into a vinyl.
Okay.
So I always like to try things a little bit different.
Yeah, I like to be outside of the box too. It really seems like the music industry has changed. Everybody's releasing one at a time.
Yeah.
And it just seems, it's nice to get back to roots, and that's what I always loved about your music. It's, it's soulful, and it's kind of folk, it's kind of country, it's got its own vibe always going on, and I've always loved that. Like, what have you been doing? Like, you've just been kicking back and writing and recording?
Yeah, just writing, recording,
projects?
and the odd acting job. And
The odd acting job, she says. So I've got cliff notes. So she says the odd acting job. So recording, she's got 16 LPs and EPs. 16. And as an actress, she's done 9 major kind of labeled roles that you have on IMDb.
Right.
The standouts of which, if you remember Saving Hope, she was a radiation technologist on Saving Hope, which was really cool. It was a favorite show of mine and my wife's. But right now, she did a spot in a crowd as a loving mother on The Boys, Amazon Prime. Come on, The Boys. Really?
Yes.
Like, what was that like?
It was good. It was probably the hardest thing I ever had to do because I had to get very upset because we were all going to die.
Yeah.
And I had a big moment with my daughter there, and but when you're on the set and they have the wind machine going and stuff flying in the air and everyone's really committed, you really feel like you're on that plane. They've even got the fake plane like moving and stuff.
Yeah.
So you really feel it. I was disturbed for weeks after, actually.
Oh, I'm sure.
I would just like, and I didn't want to fly on the plane. And I have since then, but I was just like, oh.
Well, I don't want to give any spoilers away. If you haven't seen it, The Boys, Amazon Prime, absolutely phenomenal series.
Yeah.
I will give, absolutely, it is violent, it is coarse, it's definite parental advisory.
Yeah.
Don't let your kids go, it's not your average superhero show. I'll say that much.
Yeah.
But yeah, you've been around for, like, I left Toronto in late 2012, and you were kicking around the music scene at that point for several years.
I was just starting. I don't know if several years.
A few years
I was
at
kind
least.
of just dabbling then, and I didn't really get serious until about 2015 or 16.
Okay.
I think when you and I met, I was still.
We were both
It
dabbling.
was like full on.
We met around the bar scene, the circuit scene, I guess, eh? And I was doing some open mics and different things at that point, and I was busking a lot in Toronto.
Yeah.
That's when I was hitting St. Lawrence Market all the time.
Yeah.
Busy Saturday mornings.
Yeah.
So now it is Jeff's healing music. So one of the big things we talk about all the time is music and health. So what are your thoughts? Like, I talk about music and self-care. So, you know, using music in your daily life. What types of stuff do you do? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I'll tell you something interesting. When I first started making music, my back used to go out all the time. And one time it went out so bad I could not even walk, right? But I had rehearsal with my band, and I loved making music with these guys. So I basically crawled there and strapped on the guitar. I could hardly move. By the end of the rehearsal, my back was fine. That's how healing music is. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I understand.
I forgot about everything. I was standing straight. I was walking again. So yeah, that's.
And you almost don't understand why.
Yeah, I think I let go of all the thoughts, because I think when your back goes up, for example, it's probably things you've been thinking and worrying about.
That's stress and tension.
Tightened it up, right?
Right. I find I run to my guitar every time I'm stressed out and I need to release something. Sometimes I go play my guitar and I'll start playing something. And yeah, big tough guy, all that stuff, big goatee, and I'll start wailing and bawling because I'm just so emotional, and I'll just start playing something, and the next thing I know, I'm like big crocodile tears on the top of my guitar, and I don't even know where it's coming from.
Yeah.
Sometimes, you know, and it's just so healing. And like people who aren't musicians or play an instrument don't necessarily know how that feels.
Yeah.
But you can feel it with listening to your favorite song.
And I think that's why people listen to music too, is because it heals them as well.
Absolutely.
Just as audience members.
Absolutely.
When I first moved to Toronto, my dad gave me a guitar. I didn't know how to play it, and I was like, what? Okay. Because he played and my mom played. And I learned a couple chords, and I would be alone, and I was never lonely because I would just pick up my guitar and start playing. I didn't know anyone in the city or anything, and I never felt better than when I was holding a guitar.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Now, what are your thoughts in terms of, like, you know, people can go beyond that, and there's things like music therapy and things. Have you ever had, not obviously not delving too personal, but have you ever had any kinds of dealings with that, or know people who have? Is that something you believe in?
I definitely believe in it. I don't know anyone who's done it. I feel like maybe it's really good for especially troubled younger kids.
Okay. Yeah, definitely.
I worked as a guitar teacher though, and I've had students who have come to me, and you can tell they're going through that teenager difficult stuff, but once they learn to play guitar, sorted themselves out.
Yeah. Music lessons, putting music in a child's path is always a big thing to help lift them out of a funk, or even just bring them to something where they can express themselves.
Yeah.
Absolutely. One of the biggest things I want to ask, what do you do in your personal life with music every day, outside of obviously you write songs and play with your band? What do you do with not your music? Is there something you do every day with other people's music as a routine?
Yeah, as a routine, I do listen to other people's music. I pick a new artist every week. I put them on Apple Music and listen to them, you know, in the spare time or when I'm getting ready or whatever. And I try to take in their material and listen to their songwriting and explore new musicians that way. Like recently, John Prine. I had heard a lot about John Prine, but I had never. And then when I was listening to him, I'm like, wow, he reminds me a lot of Bob Dylan.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Like a country Bob Dylan.
Yes, very much so.
Casey Musgraves. My friend JT, Julian Taylor, who was up for a Juno for Best Roots album.
Oh, wow.
I took in his album last week and a whole bunch of his stuff, and it's just like, it's inspiring.
Very cool. Good name drop.
Yeah.
No, definitely.
Right?
Julian Taylor. If you haven't heard, definitely a good name drop to listen to.
You're going to be surprised. I was blown away. I'm friends with him. I did open stages with him. I've heard him play live. But when I heard his recordings, I was like, holy shit. He's got a beautiful voice.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, you know what? It's not going to be long before you're going to have to get on stage and celebrate this brand new EP. So we're going to have to let you go.
Okay.
We've been hearing some music in the background. We don't want to leave them out. Who's opening up for you?
The Beresfords.
The Beresfords.
And they are an Aurora brother and sister act.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So the Beresfords and Aurora brother and sister. That's
Check
who
them out.
you're hearing in the background here.
Yep.
Check them out.
Yeah.
We're at the Dakota Tavern. Front and back of this, you're going to see some shots. Definitely, I'm going to try and get out there and get some of the Beresfords too. Thank you so much.
Good thinking. Thank you, Jeff.
Definitely so good to see you.
Yeah, you too.
Melanie Peterson, check her out. She's all over social media, Facebook,
Instagram.
Instagram.
Miss Watermelon.
at Miss Watermelon.
Yeah.
It's fantastic to see you again. Thank
Thanks
you
for
so
having
much.
me. Yeah. See you again.
See you again.
Okay.